Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast. We are going to be working with daisies, everything coming up daisies. And my name's Marilyn Brown, otherwise known as Paintbrush Brown in various places. and I don't know if you can see, we've got one daisy here, one daisy here, one daisy here, a few leaves, and a gnat that won't leave anybody alone. Okay, so we have a guest with us tonight. One day I painted something, and I had some wet paint out on my palette, and I saw little footprints that went walking all around my picture. They picked up paint and came over here and put footprints in there. I'm thinking, wonderful. So there are two artists in this building. One is not me. I'm just saying. Okay, so what I want to speak about tonight is there are many, 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 many ways to accomplish the same job. Each one will give a different appearance. Each one will tell you different things about maybe yourself, your skills, but it'll definitely come off looking incredibly different in the picture. All right, this is the picture that I put up to say that we were doing daisies. And I'm going to tell you, I would not ever suggest that anybody paints anything that looks like this. I wanted to show you this to alert you that choosing yellow for a daisy like this sounds like a great thing because they do come in yellow. And, who doesn't like a black-eyed Susan, right? They're yellow and they would look wonderful, right? Except you have to have the right colors to be able to shade them. And I picked up off of, I do have the right colors, by the way, but I picked up what I know most people have on their palettes. And saying that, I'm afraid that if you don't have a variety of yellows available to you, you really seriously want to consider not doing yellows, because if you were to paint them, let me see if I can show you here. Got all kinds of colors here that I've been playing with. If I were going to say I want cadmium yellow, I think pale is the one that we mostly have on the palettes. And we just gave a coat of the yellow. If you use yellow ochre, it seems okay, but once it dries, it's going to look brown, dull, um, lacking a liveliness that it really needs to have. So if you were then to do your cadmium yellow pale, and use orange as your base, it's going to change the personality of the yellow. It's not going to look yellow anymore. It's going to look like an orange. And I don't know. You play with it. You decide whether it works for you. If you like it, I don't care for it myself. I think it comes off looking like the wrong color for me. But you could use it if that's what you so chose. Um, Another thing that is suggested is to use sap green as your shading color, because anything that is alive, like your daisies, can be shaded with green. But I think in the form of a flower, you're not going to like it that way. I don't know. You might. I don't know. I would just say, with a limited palette, select the colors the best you can, but choose wisely. Yellow might not be your best alternative because you don't have enough range of light, medium, and dark to accomplish the job. It comes off looking dead-ish, and that's not necessarily what you're wanting. Also, one of the things that I would suggest is, in here, you want a nice, rich darkness color. We will learn about that as we go along, but you need to have these ideas in your mind before you start, because they affect your color choices. Okay, so that being said, choose whatever colors you think you want to choose, and we'll go from there. Okay, now I do have students that almost automatically will pick a pink, just because they like pink, and I have other students that might want to pick a purple color, and that's okay too. You can do that, because even though daisies may not grow in every single color known to the universe, they can be dyed many, many different colors. Check at Halloween or in the fall time and see at various stores what they have available for you to purchase, and you'll notice a lot of different colors, because they're so versatile and easy to alter the color of them. Also, there is a white. White is a good color for daisies, but you have to know how to accomplish that. And so I kind of thought what we would do here tonight is play around with some different colors. But then next week, I would like to do daisies again, white. And so save your line drawing. You'll want your line drawing again. You can either just repeat this same thing, or you can flip it and go the other direction with it, whatever you choose to do. But we'll repeat this, the same process, only using, hello there, using different colors, so that you can see how to create white flowers. White flowers are not truly white. There has to be something there for you to be able to see that. Okay, so I think for tonight, okay, I was playing with all these different pinks that I have, and I don't really want to do something that they're all pink. I I'm not feeling it, if you know what I'm saying. It's, I don't know, it's okay, but so I kind of wondered about using pinks and purples and just kind of going between the different colors. And I kind of like that idea. And in order to make that work, I'm going to mix up here. I have on my palette, I think this is, let me look here, hold on a second. I think it's Permanent Rose. Matter of fact, I'm sure it is. It's Permanent Rose. This one right here is Permanent Rose. And I am going to get it wet. I want some of the color of this Permanent Rose to be about the consistency of 2% milk. You know, like you can tell it's there, but it's not. It's translucent, but not transparent, if you can tell what I'm saying there. Then I've got another puddle over here that has so little pigment in it that if you were to use this full strength, you could hardly tell it. It's more like skim milk. If you understand what I'm getting at there, you can see straight through this. Okay, so I'm going to use that. I'm also going to mix up a couple petals over here of my purple, and I've got two different purples, and I'm not sure that they're totally compatible. I'm not sure they'd look good, I guess, being even in the same painting. I don't know. We'll just have to see what we get here. Okay, so there's the dioxazine purple. And then this one is, I think Purple Lake is what it's called. I don't have my color chart right here, but I think it is. It gives more of a red violet. And so while I would not use them in the same flower, I would use them in the same picture, I think. Now, I don't know that I really need to mix up two puddles of the same thing for each of these colors. I just need to know the darkest that they'll each go and how light can I make this go. And I think we can make it go fairly light. All right, so that's my choice. That's what I'm going to work with here. And because of the nature of color, darker colors, more saturated colors, darker to like presented at its darkest. The purple is the darkest of the colors that I'm going to use. That gnat is really getting on my nerves. The dioxazine purple is the darkest of the colors I'm going to use. The Purple Lake is in the middle, and the Permanent Rose is the lightest. So I want the Permanent Rose to be up here, the top flower, then the Purple Lake, and then the dioxazine, because this one is going to look heavier. So placement wise, I think that's the direction I'm going to go. So I'm going to start off with the lightest version that I could possibly ask for of that Permanent Rose. But before I do any painting on my watercolor paper, I want to apply water. All right, now, beginners, remember, always remember that you don't just jump in and start putting your paint in here. You've got to let this be ready for you. And being the first that we're putting any water anywhere, it has to soak in and be able to do the work that we're going to ask it to do. So when this water goes from being really high shine to a sheen, like the difference between glossy paint and satin paint, you want the satin look. And we're going to start right down in here because we can test our paint transparency right in here because that's the darkest part. And we're going to come around here And we're going to just apply the softest variations of that. But I don't know that you can see this. Let me draw a picture for you because you need to know. Let me grab something here. That. You know, you'd think I would have loads and loads of paper just sitting out here. I should have. But alas, I don't. I don't know why. It just is the way my life works. Okay. When you've got your petal, you've got something that looks like that. You're going to have your darkest be right in here, but you're using a very light paint, so that's not saying a whole lot. But you're going to come down here, following the edge of that petal, and you're going to come here. It's going to spread out there. You're going to come here. Depends on how big your petal is. But right in here, those areas are left white. Okay, let me mark that to where you get to see it. So right here, here, and here, don't color them blue. They're left white. That's left white. Where that gray is where you've actually placed paint. All right, so we're going to do this again. I've got to put more water down because it dried more than I want it to. Oh, and my paintbrush isn't absolutely clean either, so it may have turned a little on the pink side. Right there. Let's get that out of the middle. Oh, well, it's in the middle, so we don't care. Okay, we're going to come here, here, and there, and just leave it. Now, if you believe that you've got more color than you want, I think you can actually see that there. You can take that out a little bit. I wouldn't worry too much about it because this is not the last time we're going to touch that. We're going to do this multiple times until we get what we're looking for. We're going to add water. And I want to skip a petal. So I'm going to come over here and add water. I'm only going to do a couple at a time. And I'm getting that. Oh, well, it's in the center. But I'm not going to be fussy with it. I'm just going to let it be. Okay, I'm going to pick up some of my paint. And when this is ready, I'm going to touch it right there. That seems a little on the dark side to me, but there we go. I'm going to come up underneath that and out here. And wherever this kind of protrudes outward, that's you want the pink to be there. Okay? And then leave that white sitting there. On this one, need to get more paint here. Okay, let that sit. We're going to put water. This petal's not touching, so I can do it. Even though it's not right next to the other one, it's not touching it. So I can use it, and I can do this one as well because it's not touching either. Okay, we're going to let that. Right here. Wow, see how the water just carries it right out? Going to come down here. There. Gonna touch here. Down here. And if some of them spread out more than you thought that you wanted it to, you can blot it with a paper towel and it'll come off. Or the next time we come around, we can pick up some of that color. It's not going to show very well on the picking up part because you got a very light color. And the difference between the paper and the color it's not a wide gap there. It's very, very light color. So I'm going to put this back in. Like so. Going to pick up more water, come back in here, and here. Pick up my color, deposit it here. It's spreading out pretty fast. So I'm going to come up in here, down there, here, and here. Just leaving the light. It's spreading pretty quickly right there. So I can take some of that out if I want. It's about playing. You're playing it. That's what it amounts to. Just playing. Gonna put color here. Right in here. This one comes down the side. And that can be darker there because it goes underneath that other petal. And well, that took out like almost everything I just did. Makes me wonder why I just did it. Right there. Okay, now I'm happy with that. I've got one more petal right here. Okay, now this is a different approach than what we normally use. Normally we would paint everything. Well, that water, my brush was pink. Oh well. Normally we give everything a light coat of or light pink or whatever color you're wanting this to end up being, and you can do that. It's not wrong to do that. It's just this will give you a different looking setup, and you're still going to get your dark, medium, and light. That was incredibly wet. I think my paint is really wet. I think that's what the deal is out here. There, I'm going to leave that there. I think that's what I'm going to go for. Okay, so I'm going to leave that alone for just a little bit. This gets you in the habit of leaving that white paper. The white of the paper is the lightest highlight that you can get. If it goes pink, then you might be able to get it back to white. It's never going to be quite the same white that it was, but this isn't a highly staining color, although some of them are. If you put it down there, it's going to be whatever color you touched with that is going to be that, because it stains the paper. And good luck getting your light back at that. It's just, that's the truth of that. Okay, so I'm going to come back up here. Then I'm going to pick up water, but I don't want as much water in my brush as what I might have had before. And I'm not laying down water. Okay, I'm not going to lay down water this time, but I do want, let's see, how do I tell you how much water? If I were to make a line across here, you'd be able to see, you can't see anything there. I'm going to put paint in it. That way you'll be able to see it. All right, do not do this. Just, yes, leaving white is hard. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. But this will give you a safe way to start learning that. Because if you don't do it, is it absolutely horrible? No, it's still going to produce a beautiful flower. It's just not going. It's not going to look the same as if you'd left the white. It's just honest to goodness true. All right, I want this much. Where if I put that across there, you can see that water. You can see it beads up on my skin there, but it's not running down my hand. That's how much water you want. Okay, so you want that brush to be wet but not soppy. Okay, does that, does that work for you? You understand that? Okay, so then we're going to pick up from our color that is more like 2% milk, not the absolute transparent part. And we're going to start right in here. And I can tell that that is very wet. So I took out some of my water, and I'm going to come up here, and I'm just going to blend this out here. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to do on all these is come here and just blend this out here. Now, if it is wet, it's going to spread out like that one spread out. This one is dry. It stayed right where it is. You want somewhere in between the two. You know, we always want something we don't have. That's kind of what you're aiming for here, something we're not getting. But let's try this one. Yes, this one will blend, but not spread out too much. I'm going to go back and get this one again because there we go. That's what I'm wanting right there. And we're going to bring this in here. It's okay with me if that's dark there. I'm going to touch it because it just takes away everything. Too much of anything, it's going to take it away. If you touch it, it takes it away. All right, so I'm going to come here. A little bit right there because it goes underneath that adjacent petal. Water. Take some of that water out, pick up my color, and then come back in here. Perfect. That's what I want right there. And this right here gets darker because it goes under this petal. Yes. Right there. Right here. And of course, I don't have enough paint. Pick up a little bit more right there. And that, you know, you get too much, too little, whatever. You can come back with the water, apply your water, and then take part of that out, and it softens it right down. That's right there. So don't worry. Mistakes can be fixed. And some of it's not even that it's a mistake. It's just, man, that's awful dark. That's not quite what I wanted. Well, you can change it. It's all right. Don't worry. And one of these days, by accident, you may find out that you did something that worked very well for you, and it might be that you want to repeat it 100 times. So you wouldn't have known if you hadn't tried it, right? So don't be afraid to try things. Okay, we've got that color in there. All right. You do want these to curve. And you guys, you never, ever do this. Just 3? No, you're going here little short lines. Not 3. Not 3. You did that in kindergarten. Those days are over. Not kindergarten. Okay, now I really like what we've got here so far. I do want a little bit of darkness right here because this petal right here goes on top of this one. See how now it stands out that way? I like that. I want to keep that. This one's done it. This one's done it. This one almost has. It needs a little bit more right here, right there. Okay, I like that. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something that may be the hardest thing you ever do in your life, but it needs to be done. All right, we're going to put water in our brush. We're going to pick up our color. We're taking out of that 2% line here, puddle, whatever. And you're going to come out here to the tip and you're going to just lightly touch. And some of these are long, some of them are not long. Just like that. And touch that right there. We're going to come here. You're not outlining it. You're accenting it. You just want, and what direction they go matters. You want to keep the growth direction in your mind, and they don't go everywhere, but like they can be broken up, like that was broken up. That's okay. We want that. Here, there. I want it here, but not there. Here. Like so. And this may be the most unusual way that you've ever thought about doing a daisy, because you're doing basically your medium and your dark and the light's left behind. Okay, so we did the medium color. Now we're doing the dark color, and the dark went in the center and the dark comes out here at the edge like so. Normally we don't put dark out at the edge, but this one we are, because it's accenting the tips of these flowers. Just like that. One more to do right there. Right there. Okay. Then I'm going to pick up my cadmium yellow, whatever yellow it is you have, whatever it is. I am not wetting my paper first. I'm just going to put this color right in here. It comes down in here a little bit, just like that. All right. Wonder if I can soften out that pink a little bit. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Don't know. Okay, I'm going to pick up. I'm going to use yellow ochre as soon as I find where I put it. There it is. And the yellow ochre, I don't want this super transparent here. I want it to be 2% at the very least. Whole milk probably cream might be too thick. Okay, so I'm going to just touch. I'm not like heavily painting the area. I'm touching it. Touch, touch, touch. Right here. Right there. And that color's not deep enough to go there. It's there. It's just not got the staying power. Now, if you wanted to mix a little bit of burnt umber into your yellow ochre, and when I'm saying a little bit, I'm talking a touch. Or if you've got raw umber, that would be dark, a darker, but it's brown, so you don't want this to turn too brown. This may be a little out there, really, but by the time you soften it, it isn't. So it just don't go wild and crazy with it. See, it helps that center dip inside right there. And then I want a little bit of this color then. I want right here, that's want it to be right here at the very base of this. You can see it. It's like incredibly dark right there. But then when I come back in with a damp brush and just kind of take some of that out, it lessens that considerably. Just like that. So that you can see that center. Now, when everything is said and done, I'm going to show you, but don't do this right now because one, it needs to be absolutely dry. And you take a very fine point micron pen and you're going to just go dot, dot, dot around here. And that's little pollen bits right there. Just little bits of pollen right around that circle. I don't even know if you can see it. It may not. Let me see. Yeah, I think you can. You can see that. But you want to wait like probably tomorrow to do that. Don't do it now. Wait till it absolutely dries. Okay, so I'm going to go to my next flower. I'm going to wet the flower with water first. Pick up a little bit of my Purple Lake, I believe it is. And I can start up there if I want to because I want that dark. I can also start down here and then do the same thing I did before, leaving that light. Do another petal that does not touch. Let that color, let the water soak in, and then come back in and touch right in there. Leaving the light. Another petal. A lot of this is repetition. You just do the same things over and over again. You can do it with the same color, different colors. You could do all these the same color if that's what you wanted to do. You could do that. I think it's still a little too wet. around there. There. That is a lot of color right there. It is too much right there. Now this petal right here is on top, so I want to soften that color down right there. I don't want it very dark there. I'm not loving how dark it is there, but I'm not going to get fussy with it. I say as I fuss with it. And water here. That's a lot of water, so I'm also going to go here because these two petals don't touch. I can do both of them. I think I'll also do this one because that one is not going to be able to work anytime soon. Oh, I've got pink everywhere. How did I do that? Must be luck on my part. Just saying. I'm telling you what, you get paint somewhere and then the next thing you know, it's everywhere. Just telling you the truth. Okay, I'm going to go right here. Okay. This one's ready. Going to touch here. But that is an intensely intense color, I'm telling you. Right here. And here. There. This one right here. A little bit of that purple lake. Right in here. Two more petals to do. Want to add water here and here. And go there. And I like to pull the color more than I do push it, so let me come in here. Right there. Come out here. Just like that. Okay. One more there. And we're going to touch that color right in here, and it went nowhere. I'm thinking I want to add a little bit more water in right there. There we go. Let's see what that will do. Okay, so somewhere in there is a fine line that is enough water without being too much. Find that place. And seriously, I'm not, oh no, not hiccups. I'm not going to tell you it's easy to find that place, but you'll know it. You'll know it's there when you find it. It'll be there. You'll see it. That is a lot of color, and it's going everywhere. There we go. Bring that around here just a little bit right there. A little bit right there. We'll let that sit. Now these others over here, they blended out to practically nothing. But we're not going to worry about that because we're not done. We know that. We have to do most things, at least 2 layers. So we're not going to be worried. We're not wetting the petal again, but we've got water in our brush, not soggy, not soppy, just enough to make that paint dilute and move. All right, so we're going to start here, like so. Going to come down from above here because it's dark there. And we're going to pick up more water. There we go. Now we're moving. Because I want it to show, but not be, you know, I don't want a striped flower. I want it to be color areas. All right. Water. There we go. There. There. Beautiful. Love that. I want it to be right around in here. Right there. Because that'll tuck this petal up underneath that one over there. Okay, we'll just let that sit. Going around here, we're going to add, this color is way too dry. Picking up a little bit more water, a little more color, and just right there, there, there. And it's not moving, so I've got to pick up a damp brush and just make it move. It's got to move. There. Okay, pick up more color. Try this again. There we go. There we go. Now it's moving. This petal right here just feels very dry. It has felt very dry every time I've touched it. I don't know whether there's something strange about the paper there. It just feels very dry. I don't know, maybe it didn't get as wet as it should have the first time around. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to bring a little bit more color here. These are those softened lines that we did first. If they disappear, you need to have them there because you got to be able, you can't see the light but without the dark. See right there, here, here, you got to be able to see the light, and the dark is what's going to give us that clue. Okay. Okay, wet brush. Let's see where we go here. There we are. Just like that. Yep, that. I like it. Come here. Here we go. Right here. And I want this coming from here a little bit more than what it is. There we go. The rest of it will be taken care of when I do the accents, but I think that, yes. Yes. This one right here, coming up in here, and soften, soften, soften. Yes, yes, yes. All right, now we're going to come back in with that same color and place those accents in. And I like this color. It's a pretty color. Excellent. One more. I'm gonna look. I think it's Purple Lake. I think that's what it is. But I'm not sure enough to say that's what it is. There we go. Let me see. That my color chart keeps walking off. Well, that's not happy. Well, you know, I lost that before and I've lost it again. I don't know. I don't know how it gets up and walks off. Achoo! Achoo! I'm sorry. Excuse me. Well, if it's not where you think it is, then it's where you think it's not. The last time, it had fallen off my desk and was underneath here on a shelf, but it's not there either. I don't know. Let me try a different way here and see, because I know that it's an easy answer. Let's go to Amazon. And let's see what they say. What color is this? What do you mean you're not going to tell me? You've got to tell me. It's not funny. And you know that when you're looking for something, you know that when you're looking for something, you're not going to find it, because that's the way life runs. Because Murphy and all that goofy stuff. Oh, well, there you are. I don't know, and I'm not finding it very easily. It should be easy, but it's not, because that's just the way life runs. Is not easy. But I will find that answer for you. Wait a minute. I wonder if this is one I could. Let's see. Haha. What color are you? It says it's mauve. That's what it says on the side of the color, on the side of the pan. It says mauve. But I thought this other one was mauve, but it's Purple Lake. So I got the two confused. So it is mauve according to this. Now let's make sure that I actually did what I thought I did, because I'm not infallible, Nope, that's what it is. It says it's mauve, but boy, oh boy, I would not have ever called this color mauve. I would never have. That would just not have been on the list of things I would have said that was. So there you are. It says it's mauve. It's a red-violet color. I know, but it's printed on the half pan itself. Let me. Right there it is. Yeah, let's hold this wet paint over your painting, Marilyn. That's a beautiful idea. It's a fast way to a disaster. See? Mauve. That's what it is. I would never have said that it was that color, but that's what they say. It is. Because I used the one that was right next to the dioxazine purple. And I thought it was Purple Lake, but it's not. It's mauve. And the one next to mauve is, on the other side, is Purple Lake, but it's more pink. It's a Let me show you. See, it's this one. This one is the Purple Lake, even though it looks pink. It's Purple Lake. This one. I would never have thought that. Never, never, never. But okay, we all learn something new. Never know. Learn something new every day. Okay. And the last time I was looking for that color chart, I found it 2 seconds after we ended the broadcast. So I don't know. I know. And they do. Each brand, that's why you need to swatch your colors to know whatever they call them, whatever that is. You want the color you're after, not what it's called. Payne's Gray is another one of those that changes incredibly. What you think you're getting and what you are getting may not be the same thing. Okay, I'm going to pick up my yellow again and come down in here just like that. Just like that. And I'm going to pick up yellow ochre just like I did last time. And I'm going to come down in here just like I did before. Right in here. Just like I did before. It's showing up a little bit better up here. Not too much, I don't think. And once again, that really super dark color that you need, because you need something dark. You need it. I'm going to use that raw umber color. And just going to go really light down below here. It's not going everywhere. And it's just going to go right in this little semicircle right there. And then with a damp brush, I'm going to take everything out that I just put in. That's not what we're after. We want to soften what we just put in, not take it all out. Okay, so put it back in right there. There we go. And then I'm going to pick up that yellow again. And come back up in here. There, just like that. Just like that. And then when that's dry, you go back around it with the pin. Don't do it now. Don't do it now. Don't. Okay? All right, now, if you feel like, all right, and I'm going to do this. Don't do it until I've done it already. Because if you don't want it that way, you'll really mess things up. If there are some places you feel like need to be softer in your petals, you can come back with a damp brush and just soften them. Like I want to shove that color over right there. And because this will soften into your light as well. And if you've got your lights looking the way you want them, you need to not do this. But just if you think you want that to be softer looking, a damp brush is what will do that job. Now, I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying if you really think it looks too striped and not blended enough, you can do this. You might not want to. I'm not, I think on this particular flower, I'm glad I did it here. I wouldn't want to do this one. I think this one is just the way I want it. This one needed a little softening just because it's a bolder color. It just is. Now this one down here, it's going to be bolder yet. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. All right. So on this one, we're going to wet the petals once again. We're going to add water here. And that is incredibly wet, my friends, I'm telling you. Because before, some of them didn't get as much water as I would have liked. And so I'm going to really get these wet. And then, okay, I've got 3 of them there. And they are incredibly wet. Okay. And once again, I want something that, I want that purple, but I want it to be about the consistency of skim milk. And that's fairly thin on this level, I'm thinking. All right. How are we doing? We're ready. Well, this one's ready anyway. All right. And we're going to come right in there. And see how it spread out really fast? That means it's wet. That whole thing is wet. I'm going to come back in here. Just give a light, leaving my whites. If you can leave your whites, you want to leave them. And in here. Down in here. That is very, very not light. Okay, there. It's better. Let's bring this one up to speed here. Because it's... There we go. Pick up a little bit more color. And this is the one that we're working on right here. And I'm going to come in here. And it's starting to dry more than I want. So I'm going to pick up some water. Come on, play nicely. You know, sometimes, you know, I've had times where I sat down to paint and I don't know, it just, nothing was working right. And I decided it might be a good day for drawing and not painting, because sometimes things just don't work. Why? I don't know why. Just know that it's that way. Okay, I'm going to come up here with water. That's not incredibly soggy, so I'm going to just do one. Get the color right in here. And then here. And this one. I think on that other one, I may have painted something that was supposed to be part of the leaf. Because when you lighten your lines so that you can get them as light as you can, sometimes you can't see. Sometimes you can't see them. Just saying. Okay. And I'm going to get this one wet. Now there's a little foreshortened petal on top, sitting right there on top of that. I don't want to get into that. There. Okay, then I'm going to pick up my purple again. I'm wanting this more like the 2% milk, or maybe whole milk, maybe 2% at any rate. Then in here, there's a foreshortened petal going right around there. So you don't want to get in that. That is dark, dark, dark. Well, I'm going to let that sit there because, one, I don't want to take it all out, and two, we said this was going to be darker, so I'm going to believe myself this time. Okay. There. I like it, I guess. I guess I like it. And we're going to go in here. I want this around here because this is underneath. Matter of fact, let's put both of these sides underneath. And bringing that down in here. This is not the accent color. This is just reinforcing that medium value. And in here, this one is going to be underneath here. Let's just not get too involved there. Let's just let that sit. Going back up here. There. I'm thinking maybe do that again. Darker here. There. Underneath here. There. Just a little bit. Yes, yes, yes. This one, keep in mind, you've got that foreshortened petal there. And now, beginners, if this doesn't feel right to you and you still want to just do your base light and then go back and put in your darks around there and bring it up to your medium, you can do that. It's not wrong. It's just different ways of doing the same thing. It's the same flower. I think I've got this petal. I think I painted part of what was supposed to be leaf up in there. Take up a little bit more water. I'm going to have to spatter paint this background because I've got fingerprints all over everywhere. Not that I want them there, but you know, sometimes you just get what you get. Right there. I like it. I do. This one, a little bit here. There. Love it. And I like it. Now, you've got these 2 foreshortened petals in the front, and you're going to take your, okay, you've got your brush wet. You don't want to wet these, get them soggy, because then everything's uncontrollable. But there's one here and one here. Okay, and what you're looking at is what you see at the tips here is what you're going to see here. Right there and right there. Because you're seeing the tips of the, does that make sense? The tips of the petals. And then they'll blend down to like a medium kind of deal down there. They're just, don't get heavily invested in these. You know, they need to be there, yes, but they're just there. Okay, then we're going to put the yellow behind it, and then I'll tell you, being purple, this yellow is going to go wah. Sorry. Say that again. Which part? Sorry, there is such a delay. I don't see this until I don't even know. What you just painted? Oh, the foreshortened petals. There's purple there too. My goodness. The foreshortened petals. Let me show you bigger here. If I've got a flower here, there are 2 petals here. Sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 3. There. I'm not getting real wild and crazy with that. Okay, but there we are. And what you're seeing there are the tips. The what you would have out here is what you're seeing here. Now, it depends on how thick they are, because you might be also seeing the inside of that petal. But with these, you're not. You're just seeing the tips of that petal, because that's what the foreshortening does. You're seeing the front of these petals right there. And then when you put your center in here, we're going to put the yellow, then the yellow ochre. And then the raw umber. But this one, the only place that is really very light on this center is this part right out here. Let's see if I can, I'll show you. Because this in here is sitting down in, because it's got petals in front of it. We'll get more into that with a bigger flower in the future. So it's not a, see it, just, you want to see the fronts of these petals. You're just seeing, because the petal is coming at you. So you're seeing the fingertips, so to speak, rather than the knuckles. You're seeing coming at you. Yeah. Yes. I knew you would. I knew you would. But I'm beginning to think, and I may be wrong here, but I'm thinking that we need to find a different time for this, because I'm tired enough by this time in the day that my words they're not coming clear, if you know what I'm saying. I'm getting, of course, this is that week that is crazy. Don's got doctor's appointments every day but Tuesday and Friday. So, and Wednesday he's got 2. So Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday he's got doctor's appointments. All, and it takes, well, and then we had to go get groceries, and it's just, I'm wiped out before I ever get here. So anyway, I think we're going to, and honestly, what you've got left to do are leaves, and we've done leaves. Even though these are shaped different, there's the concept behind it is still the same. It's just this one right here, it goes behind this flower. So you want to pay attention to that, okay? So when you're doing it, you want to make sure you've got darkness there. Actually, most of this leaf is going to be dark. It's just because of where it's sitting. The sunlight just really doesn't get to it because it's hiding behind all that flower. Okay, so just, it's the same procedure we used before on all the other leaves we've done. You do with these. Okay, that's just it. So go ahead and paint your leaves, get them done. Remember that you're putting your dark, right there's the line, you're putting it behind that line. See where it kind of goes there, and it sort of frowns right there, if you know what I'm saying. See right here, it sort of frowns right there. You're going to put the darkness above that frown. The light goes underneath it. So when it's put in the smiling form, the light is right there. Just saying. If you don't want to do it on your own, save it and we'll work on it. But I think this is a good place to stop because I'm getting too tired. And when I start getting too tired, I'm not even going to make any sense. Sorry. It's just, and then I start having trouble with my words. So, all right. So remember, this is a way to paint daisies, not the only way. Next week, we'll just use this same picture, like draw it again, and we will paint white flowers instead of colored ones. That, now, it's not harder, not easier either. It's not harder. It's different, just incredibly different. Plus, you know that if you're going to have white flowers, you've got to have a colored background. So we will work on that too, just so you know. So it may take a little more effort. So we'll see how that actually flies. But okay, so you guys, make today that happy day. Only you can. Your choices matter. Don't let other people steal your joy. So, all right, we will see you next week. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me. My information's in the drop-down box. So, all right, like and share, people. Share this with everybody you know so that they can see it too and we can get some followers. So, all right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.